Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum, Nadia. Assalamu alaikum, Omar. Safra.
How are you guys?
Good, good. Alhamdulillah. How are you? Okay, we're going to wait a few minutes as everyone joins us. So, should we start? Okay. Okay, everybody. Assalamu alaikum. We're live from An-Nisa, and we're here for an amazing update on one of the most amazing programs we are so proud of, inshallah. I have with me two of our founding members of this new An-Nisa Online Tutoring Academy, which is an intervention program for refugee and low-income students. You know, when COVID first started, we had a big problem with the refugee community, with the low-income marginalized communities, because a lot of them were not connected online. A lot of them had issues. The kids were having issues of playing around, not doing anything because there was no school. And essentially the parents had to be the teachers. And I know a lot of us were having issues with that, especially these parents who were not educated. They had no idea what to do. They didn't know how to connect to the internet. The teachers were not able to connect to them. And so we had this whole bunch of children that were not doing anything. So we started phase one, which was basically we tried to get tutors connected to those students so that they could help them complete their work. And through that, we learned a lot, and we got a lot of good volunteers who helped, but there was a lot of connection issues with them as well. And so we learned that we needed a tiered system. And so we formed what we have, the An-Nisa Tutoring Academy. The basic founders of this was Farzana Ahmed. I was a part of it. And then of course we have our wonderful Omar Akhtar and Nadia Khandoker. Without them, this would not have been possible. MashaAllah, we have 110 students. We have 110 volunteer tutors, and we have 20 certified teachers who are all working together to ensure that children from marginalized communities are not left behind with this whole new COVID school situation. And our tutors have a lot of issues. They were having a lot of issues with connecting to these students, so we can understand why the school system left them behind. But we did not give up. And mashallah, mashallah, our tutors have gotten in connection with them. We were able to give out 80 Chromebooks to students that did not have online connections. We were able to, Umar, mashallah, is our technical director. I'm going to let him talk about everything that he did, but he did all these trainings for the tutors, for the teachers, for the students, got them all connected through Google, got them all on Zoom. And mashallah, we're able to have this program where we have a curriculum, an intervention curriculum that talks about, basically we have the tiered system. So we have these amazing, principal type, a principal type person who actually went through and looked at all the different TEKs that are needed for each grade level, what they needed to pass. So we had all of these students come into our office in shifts, most of them, and we did assessments for them for the grades that they were just supposed to have passed. So if the student was like passing 5th grade going into 6th, we did a 5th grade assessment for them. And guess what? 98% of the students failed the assessments. In fact, they could hardly do any of those questions. And so we developed a program where we have Google Classrooms. So we have 1st grade Eagles and 1st grade Cowboys, and we're going to show you our rosters and everything. They're amazing, mashallah. And through those Google Classrooms, the teachers, we have a curriculum that is going to ensure that the 10 TEKs that they were supposed to learn in their school year are followed, and lessons are planned accordingly. Those lessons are posted by the certified teachers on the Google Classroom, and then the tutors are in the classroom. So there's 5 to 6 tutors in each classroom. So 5 to 6 students in each classroom. We developed Google Gmail for each and every student, and we put them in their classrooms. And so the tutors do those assignments with the students. So they do one-on-one with them. And then if there's any issues, they talk to the teachers. So the tutors are trained by the teachers, and then they work with the students. And if there's any issues, if there's any lessons that need to be done in a Google Classroom setting, then the teachers do those lessons. So alhamdulillah, it's a very good system. We're very proud of it. And I'm gonna go ahead and let Umar and Nadia talk about all the stuff that they've been doing to make this organized. So Umar, please.
Assalamu alaikum, everybody, and thank you, Sister Sadaf, for that great introduction. On behalf of An-Nisa, this is one of our greatest programs, I believe, that has a really strong impact on the community right away. So as Sister Sadaf was mentioning, what we wanted to do was set up the technology and a platform for students, teachers, and tutors to be able to connect during these troubling times with COVID and having to continue education remotely. So that's a little bit about my background. So I'm a technology project manager, and I implement systems, change management, communications, and training. And so as part of that, that was my primary role alongside Sister Nadia, to help implement Google Classrooms and to make sure that the teachers, the students, and the tutors were all connected and enrolled. So as Sister Sadaf mentioned, we have over 110 students and tutors already enrolled in our classrooms, and we'll give you a sneak peek of what the classrooms and the roster looks like. And we also, made sure we created a Gmail for them, logged into their Chromebook, and basically gave them a ready-to-go device ultimately to get them started with their classrooms. So I'll start sharing my screen to show you what the actual classrooms look like, as well as what our roster looks like. So what we did was we divided up into grades, and each grade has their own mascot to help differentiate them and kind of get a little bit more excitement from the students. For the most part, we wanted to keep the ratio of students to be about 5 or 6 students per teacher. The numbers you're seeing include the actual tutors themselves. And so the tutors are also enrolled as students in the classroom. And so these are all the different classrooms we have. Within each classroom, you can see, teachers are posting assignments. There can be discussions going on. Here's kind of what the classwork looks like, and then the various students and teachers that are involved. We also have been maintaining kind of our own database in the sense that we have rosters for everybody, and the number of students and tutors, who their tutors are. We have all these different tabs that we maintain, especially with the help of Sister Nadia, Sister Farzana, and Sister Sadaf. And so we want to make sure that these students are prepared, but internally we're also providing this support and backing that these students will ultimately need. And so with classrooms being our primary platform for the classroom, we're also leveraging Zoom as our meeting platform to make sure the students and the tutors can meet face to face and have like a scheduled time period of when they're meeting. So the tutors can walk through the students, any of the assignments that they're going through, and then also kind of build a relationship, also teaching them how to use Zoom. So that's another one of the added benefits of the program. So if you look at it from end to end, we want to deliver them their Gmail enrolled into a classroom, logged into their Chromebook, and then ready to go with a tutor and a teacher assigned to them. We generated some training guides as well for classrooms and for Zoom. So both the parents, the families, and the students themselves are aware of what the actual program is. We did have a phased approach where the first phase of students were primarily those that we kicked off the pilot program of enrolling or having the students have a tutor help them. But then we've expanded to this phase 2 and phase 3 round of students, where we met with a lot of them to hand deliver the Chromebooks and to train them ultimately on how to use this actual program. So I'll stop sharing and I'll jump back to the Zoom meeting. That's primarily what I wanted to share from my perspective as more of the technology lead. I'll pass it over to Sister Nadia to discuss how she was also involved with the program. Thank you.
Yes, so we had a lot of issues with the tutors meeting the students, getting connected with the students. And mashallah, Nadia has been amazing with the spreadsheets, keeping track of the tutors, keeping track of the students, keeping track of the parents, getting everybody connected. Nadia, please, Wonder Woman, mashallah. Both Nadia and Omar are just amazing. They are seriously Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's gifts to us to make this all so possible. And they've been like middle of the 24/7, guys. Everybody has been working 24/7 to make sure that these students are not left behind, with training guides, with everything. Nadia, please tell us all the stuff you've done. Show us those beautiful spreadsheets. Hello, Nadia?
I was on mute.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for the introduction. You're so sweet. And yes, so a lot of effort has gone into this project, and everyone has put in a lot of effort in trying to make sure that volunteers are able to connect to the students, and we're able to connect with the parents as well. So we have an amazing team, and you just spoke really highly of me, and I can't take, all that credit. But so one thing I'd like to start with is we have 3 platforms that we're using, and Omar just went over the Google Classroom, and we also use WhatsApp and Google Sheets. So WhatsApp is where we have our communication between the tutors and our lead team, and we have one group that's specifically for just communicating in general with the tutors and letting them know very high-level generic information like training material, training guides. And then we have smaller WhatsApp groups that are based on the classes that Omar just kind of gave us a preview of. And that is where the teachers are able to communicate with the volunteers directly in case they run into any issues. So this is kind of the tiered approach that we're going with this new phase of the project, to make sure that we have a communication at every level, and no one is really falling behind. And so that was Google Classrooms, and then WhatsApp, and then our third platform is Google Spreadsheets. So what we did is we gave each volunteer a spreadsheet for each student, and this is a way for the volunteers to track their progress with each student, and also a way for us, the lead team, to see how things are going, and for teachers to also check in and get a detailed overview of how the progress with these kids are going. So it's alhamdulillah for technology, because that has allowed us to really communicate and keep in touch with the volunteers and the kids. And Omar, if you want to give maybe just a really quick preview of the not so pretty spreadsheets, but they're colorful.
It is pretty. It's so nice, mashallah. And also, Nadia, can you talk a little bit about how you created a spreadsheet for each student so that the tutors can keep track? So every time they have a session, they talk about it and they write a little bit about it. And so we can keep track of how much help each student is getting or what they need help in. And that way we can follow up with that.
So yes, this is an example of the individual student spreadsheets. So again, we have one for each student that's involved in this program. And in this spreadsheet, we give the volunteers all the information they need for their particular student. So it includes contact information, email address, what grade level they're in, their assessment score, and so on. Anything that could possibly help the volunteer to know more information about the student. And this is where the volunteer will also keep track of their progress on a weekly or, however often they're meeting with these kids. And the idea is that long-term, inshallah, if the volunteer has to leave the program, we want somebody else to be able to come in and pick up and see, all the progress that was made, and they can pick up from where the other volunteer left off. So we're really thinking long-term for this, and we're trying to plan accordingly. So we're using, again, platforms like Google Classroom, Google Sheets, all of this to kind of help build that strong foundation so that this is a lasting program, inshallah.
Yes, that is one of the main things. Thank you so much, Nadia, for that. And thank you so much for all your hard work. I know it hasn't been easy. The the tutors complaining that they can't get in touch with the students, the parents, the language barriers. You've been instrumental in making sure that all of that is taken care of. If tutors drop out, new tutors are brought in, they're given their assignments. I mean, it's not easy. It's like we're running a whole school literally. And and again, I want to give a big shout out to the leads of one of the main leads of this program, Farzana Ahmed, who's not on tonight, but she was also instrumental. And I can't tell you guys enough about how important this program is. I mean, imagine nobody else in the nation has taken on something like this. We were actually looking to see if there was something that we could put these students in, and there's nothing. Teachers, once they reached out to these students a couple of times, after that, you can't even blame them because everybody was going through this COVID reality. And so they couldn't get in touch with these students. And so these students were dropped. And when we saw these assessments and we saw like basically all of these kids didn't know anything that they had gone through, and I guess you can say that that is a big problem that we need to deal with the system, is that they pass these kids whether they know the stuff or not. And that's something we can deal with on a political and a totally different level, but it's the truth. These kids are passed without knowing anything. So you have fourth graders that don't know how to read. You have third graders that don't know simple addition and subtraction. And that is what we're trying to combat. And mashallah, mashallah, I'm so proud of our teachers. These are certified teachers who have volunteered their time. They're putting in the effort. They're coming into the trainings. Omar has given them trainings on Google Classroom, on how Zoom, all of this stuff. Plus, they are telling us what the students need, what platforms to use. We have a whole WhatsApp with the teachers talking about, what are different ways that we can help these kids. There's teachers that are saying, let's have a read along, let's have a book club. We have a 7th grade book club. We have, teachers using Khan Academy. But mashallah, the main thing is that they're getting these kids engaged. They're getting these kids to study. And what we want to do is develop a love of learning for these kids and develop long-term relationships with these kids and these tutors so that they can motivate them to, go to school, finish school, go to college, become something and get yourself out of this situation. And we know that that's what's going to happen. Mashallah, we're so excited and we are thinking long term. And we need your help, guys. Anybody who wants to volunteer with us, if you're a teacher, you can, we can open up another section. You can volunteer with us. If you're a tutor, if you have somebody who's tutored high school or tutored for SAT, because we have a high school class, which we're teaching SAT stuff too, so that we can help them get scholarships. And we're going to have workshops with them for different things like resume writing, SAT, classes, math classes, English classes, anything to help them get scholarships, how to get scholarships, how to apply for FAFSA. So that's going to be at the high school level. But we have kindergarten to 8th grade, and we have students who were very much enjoying themselves doing nothing, and they really don't want to start. And the tutors are making work and they're making them start, and the parents are so happy. So alhamdulillah, this program, inshallah, it's going to work and it's going to be the biggest difference. You can give these kids, you can give these families all the food you want, you can give them all the band-aids you want, but the only thing that's going to get them out of this situation is education. And we need your help with this, guys. We really do. Mashallah, we have a great team, but it's a lot of work and it's something that the community needs to work on with us. And, that's all I have to say about this. I'm just floored by you guys, by you, Omar, by you, Nadia, by Farzana, by the amount of effort that you guys are putting in for this, just for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and for these kids. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you. And honestly, as a community, we should be proud of this program because it's going to be phenomenal. And it is, mashallah.
You're included in all that, Sadaf Patel.
Yes,
you're
exactly.
doing all the hard work and you just don't mention yourself.
No, thank you so much. It's all of us. And, inshallah, I hope that everything that we have aspired for this program comes true and more. If any of you guys out there as the audience wants to come and volunteer with us, let us know. But if you guys have any suggestions, we're open to them. Anything that you think would help or, would add to this program, let us know. But, at An-Nisa, that's what we try to do. We strive to ensure that our community gets a heads up, that our community thrives. And education is one of the main things that is going to make us get out of the hole we're in, inshallah. And, these kids will be able to teach their parents, inshallah. Even if nothing else, the fact that they've learned to become online is going to help them in the fall, because I think schools are going to be online in the fall, right? Nadia, what do you guys?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's most of them hopefully are going to be online.
Yeah. So inshallah, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining. And thank you guys for all your hard work. We're going to sign off now. Is there anything else that you guys wanted to share or say anything about the program?
Yeah, one thing I would like to add, it's not just the homework and the assignments. It really is showing these students and their families that they have someone supporting them, right? That there is someone looking out for them and they're not left in the dark, which unfortunately was the case as soon as COVID hit and the transition to online education happened. We made sure that they knew there was someone they could contact, that there is someone that's looking out for their students. And majority of these students are English speakers, but the families themselves, unfortunately, cannot speak English well. So having, the help of the translators, that definitely helps. But at the same time, the excitement you see when you're, giving a Chromebook to a student, right? And they ask, oh, when do I have to return this? And we tell them, no, this is yours to keep, which is typically their first device, something that a lot of us, unfortunately, take for granted. It's a blessing for them. It's planting the seed to really help, them prosper and grow in the future, to get connected to the world when the whole world has, almost abandoned them. To the point where they know how to connect through Zoom. They know they have an email, they have a classroom, they have tutors and teachers, and the support of An-Nisa to really help them move forward. So I think that's one of the biggest impacts that, may be overseen, but it is a blessing and it gives them hope, mashallah, and I hope it really continues to give them hope.
Thank you for that.
Thank you, Sister Sadaf.
Because, people, we've been helping their parents or we've been helping their families, but the kids have never felt this kind of belonging that they're feeling now, that people are caring for them, somebody else cares for them. They care what's going to happen to them. They care about their schooling. They want to help them. So I think that's making a big impact on these students and on these children. They're really surprised, I remember this first grader, Habiba, who I was talking to the other day, Burmese, she's like, are you going to be with us forever? And she's like, really, forever? So these kids
one of the questions we often receive is how long will this program last? Is this just temporary? Is this just for the summer? And Sister Sadaf, if you want to expand on that.
Yeah. So we're doing the main work in the summer is because now obviously they don't have the teachers guiding them. And so we have our teachers, we have our program where they have to do, once a week tutoring. After that, definitely it's going to continue. We want the tutors to check in with the students once a week or once every other week, however they think is better for them, to see if they're following up with their teachers in school, to see if they're doing, so they're just going to be like their mentor, and that's why we have these spreadsheets, because we understand people go through life, they have things where they have to drop off. So in case if somebody has to, we can have somebody else join and know exactly where they left off. So they'll know exactly where the student was in terms of progress, and they can continue right where the other tutor left off. So definitely it's long term. We want to ensure that these kids are, they love to learn, that they are successful, and we just don't let them go in the middle. So inshallah, definitely long term. Thank you for that, Omar. Anything you'd like to add, Nadia, before we sign off?
No, I really like the last point that Omar made, that this does go beyond just tutoring. And the one thing I know a lot of volunteers are noticing, these kids look forward to meeting with their tutors, not necessarily for the assignments, but it's just the fact that they know somebody does care. And a lot of these families don't have their typical family support. So they don't have, on a daily basis, like who can call and check up on, just to see how they're doing. So it goes further beyond that. And mashallah, I'm looking forward to seeing and hearing how these relationships grow.
Alhamdulillah. And I want to give a big shout out to our amazing volunteer tutors, our amazing volunteer teachers, and our team, because nothing is possible without you guys, and you guys are doing it for just the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward you all. With that, I think we're good. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to reach out to us, help us, volunteer with us, and we love you all. We're always here for the community at An-Nisa. Bye. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.